All right, Panther Lair, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Panthers' most recent defeat at the hands of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. And as I put out on Twitter, I'm going to talk about how Wake Forest tried to take Mohamedou Gueye out of wrecking havoc around the rim, and one of the ways they did that, and a lot of teams have tried to do this, a lot of teams will continue to do this, is by involving Mohamedou Gueye in an exchange on the weak side of plays, particularly in conjunction with ball screens, that takes him away from being the low man. So if you've watched a lot of my breakdowns before this, particularly the ones with the voice overlay, you know I talk a lot about the low man. And really, I think the key is in Pitt's current starting lineup, which features Onyebuchi, Ezi Akudo, I think every time you want him to be the low man. And it's not because, Ezi's a bad defender. He puts a lot of pressure on the ball. But honestly, you'd rather have the listed 6-foot guard try to deter something at the rim rather than Gueye or any other player in the starting lineup. So how Wake was able to do this was very similar to a lot of teams. You see, right now, this would probably be Gueye as the low man, right? If this guy rolls here, Dalton rolls, and I think Gueye slides over. But because they're going to do this weak side exchange, it's going to switch Ezi Akuda and Gueye here on the weak side. Now you see Ezi, of course, because of this, and this is a good job by him. He recognizes he's now the tag guy, so he's going to slide all the way over. But that's going to kind of open this skip pass lane here as the exchange was happening into the corner to Ezi Akuda's guy, Williamson. And good pressure here, but Williamson's just bigger. He's just going to be able to shoot over Ezi Akuda. You're going to see the same thing here, right? So this is a little bit of the Chicago action, and I will probably talk about this when Pitt plays Miami. But it's kind of this three-man setup. It's a dribble handoff that goes right into a screen. So this dribble handoff occurs here, and then you're going to get a ball screen. But here it's going to be slipped. Okay, so it's going to slip. Hughley's way out of position. But you'll see that this kind of exchange happened on this other side. And on the weak side of the play. So if we kind of go back a second here, you'll see this exchange is going to happen. And now that puts Femi Udikale as the low man here, who does a better job of this just because of his size at 6'5". But what ends up happening on this catch is he has to vacate his guy. He does a good job of trying to stay with Laravia. Like, honestly, you're going to have to stay with this guy. He was shooting fireballs out of his hands. But that's going to position him to have to kind of switch his hips, flip his hips, and get back out. And that's just not necessarily one of Guye's strengths. He could do this. He can contest. But, I mean, this is kind of a tall order for a guy of this size. And you'll see it's another relatively uncontested three. And here we go, one more example. You're going to see this exchange is going to occur on this side of the court, on the weak side. What that's going to, in conjunction with this ball screen, and that's going to open a passing lane as that kind of occurs. So you're going to see again, they want Ezi as the low man, not Gueye. So that's going to take him away from the rim, away from the action, and that's just going to be a pass in the corner. And again, Ezi Akuda does a good job with his closeouts. Obviously, he plays with his hair on fire as a former walk-on to, continuously stay on the court. But it's just going to be hard for him to contest these shots. It's harder for a smaller guy to cover this much ground. And the result, again, is an open three. So I do expect to see this continue. It has been happening a little bit, but Gueye had so many games where he was blocking 4 or 5 shots around the rim, chasing guys down from behind and blocking shots. He had one of those in this game. That's in the clip that I posted on Twitter. That's also in this article. So you'll see that. But teams are really trying to not allow that to be the case anymore. I mean, he's really, really anchors the defense in that way. So you're going to continuously see him involved in ball screens, and you're going to see him also involved in weak side exchanges to take his impact and blocking shots and deterring things out of at the rim away from the Panthers.